Natalie, and welcome to our SoulSprite baking series, Sweet As. So today we are going to be making vegan banana bread. I wanted to show you a trick that if you don't have bananas, you can put it for about half an hour or so until they come out black. And then you can scrape out the insides and put them in the bowl. It's a really easy way to not have to stress about what day you're going to make banana bread depending on your bananas. Another trick is you can also put them in a brown paper bag and tighten it up a little bit, and then in a day or two they should usually be ripe. Other people put it in the microwave, but I find this is my favorite way to get them ripe fast, and then you don't need as much sugar in it because it's really nice and sweet. And for my sweeteners today, I've got maple syrup to keep it vegan, and we've got oil and almond milk, unsweetened, and some vanilla in here. And then our dry ingredients, today I'm using gluten-free flour, baking soda, cinnamon, and salt. So we're just going to start off by mashing the bananas, getting them as squished as possible so that you don't have any big lumps. Takes a few times. You can also do this with a fork. It's a fun thing to do with the kids. Really easy because you can't do it wrong. And it's really easy to do when they're warm. These ones have cooled a little bit. It's a little bit harder to match, but all good. Gonna hit it against the bowl. Sorry, I'm quite loud. Just get everything out of there. We want all the banana flavor we can get. Okay, and you make sure you've washed your hands beforehand. Otherwise, I'm gonna be putting all sorts of germs there, which we don't want. Now I'm gonna put in my wet ingredients. Make sure you get all that stuff in there. And either you can whisk it right now, or you can just, mix it with a wooden spoon. I like to use a wooden spoon because I try not to overwork the batter, because if you overwork it, then it can get quite tough, which is something we don't like. It's different using eggs and sugar, because then you want to beat it really, really well so that it can dissolve. But because it's vegan and fine sugar free, it's a little bit easier. And now we're going to put in the dry ingredients and just fold it through. Don't want to work it too much. So I've put cinnamon in here, but you can also use a bit of mixed spice, or you don't have to put any cinnamon at all. If you wanted to, you can put in dark chocolate chips, or you can put in some walnuts, or anything you want at this point. It's whatever you prefer. I like to keep it simple, but then at the end serve it with peanut butter, maybe some extra cinnamon. Okay, and if you notice your dough is a little bit too dry, you can add in a bit more milk, or if it's too wet, you can add in more flour. I'm actually going to get a little bit more milk. Sorry. See, it's all feeling, because all different flours react differently. Because I'm using gluten-free flour, it absorbs more of the liquid than regular flour. So you just see, have a feel, you can't get it too wrong. Right. But it is meant to be thick. It's a bit different to other things we make in the kitchen. Okay, I'm going to add again a little bit more milk, because it is quite thick. Oh yeah. But again, you don't want to work it too much, otherwise it'll be really tough. Okay, so I'm going to put this in my greased loaf pan. I just used Olivani to keep it vegan, but you can use whatever you have on hand. You can also put in baking paper if that makes it easier. So I'm just going to spread this out. And then you can, if you're using walnuts or chocolate chips, whatever, you can also put that on top. But because I'm not, I'm going to put on some extra sliced bananas. You can do it any way you like. This is my favorite way though. I like to squish it in there and just have one extra banana and cut it lengthways. But yeah, you can really do whatever you feel. I like to make sure it's nice and flat so it can cook properly. I'm just going to hit it. But yeah, now we put it in the oven, 180 degrees Celsius, and just wait until it's nice golden brown and a skewer comes out clean. Should be about 40 minutes, but it all depends on your oven and the flour and everything. So best to check a little bit before so that you don't overcook it. Right, so time to check on the banana bread. Okay, so a good way to check is you can get a skewer or a knife and just poke it through and see if it comes out clean. Another way is when you bounce on it, it bounces back. You can do the same thing with cupcakes. But it's really important, especially if this is gluten-free, to let it cool properly before you cut it, and then you can always pop it in the toaster or whatever to get it nice and warm again. But with gluten-free especially, it can fall apart a little bit if you cut into it straight away. If you're doing it with normal flour, maybe you can cut into it 10-15 minutes later, but the cooling process is really important. It also helps to continue the cooking and improve the texture. And my favorite thing to do is next day, put it in the toaster, put any spreads you want on it. You can do peanut butter or jam, just normal butter, whatever you feel. And you can also freeze slices. So you can cut however many slices you want, wrap it up nice and tight, put it in the freezer. And to store it, I would just put it in an airtight container and keep it for a few days. You can always put it in the toaster and it'll go back nice. But yeah, enjoy.